Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to tonight's episode of Les Morte d'Arthur. Tonight, Sir Palomides and Sir Tristram will return once more. Not before they've had some food, of course. It's important to have your supper before you go back to the heavy smiting, but the heavy smiting will begin once more tonight, as hopefully our night have been refreshed after the weekend. Hello Karen, welcome. Hello Herbert, hello Queen and Amanda, hello Rachel, come in guys, hello Dawn, come in, happy Mondays everyone. I hope you're all... Danny, you're back. Did you enjoy your trip to England, Danny? I'm sorry that we couldn't meet up, but I hope you've enjoyed your trip to England. In fact, Danny, we were actually ready to start with till bashing, but I've held off doing any till bashing until you've gotten back, because I know you want to be there for it live. So I'm just working on it now without sharing it with anyone. You're back. Now you're back, we can have it. And hello Cafe, come in. Hello Queen, welcome. Is everybody in a good mood today? I hope everyone is in a good mood. Oh, Blackpool is fun. And the weather wasn't too bad while you were here. We had some wet days, but we had some good days. Darling. It would be ironic that the day you were in Sheffield was the day I was in London. But hey, ho. Next time you come, hopefully we'll be able to sort something out. In other news, hello Black Rabbit, come in. You'll see I've had a nasty accident with a sword recently and have accidentally shaved. No, I deliberately shaved. It was getting a bit too much, even by my standards. It was getting a bit too much. So I have shaved. Clearly this is a big event. But yes. Well, ladies and gents, that we've all come back in. Wonderful, Danny. Oh, you have it. We will get back into it this Thursday. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you guys are as well. I'm just in a general good mood. So let's, without further ado, ladies and gents, bearing in mind that some of you, like Danny, have missed a few shows, let's give you a grand recap. A grand recap indeed of what's been taking place. You may remember, ladies and gents, that we have been telling the tale of that most famous of all knights, my favourite knight himself, Sir Tristram. And what's more, ladies and gents, we have been telling for so long how the love between Tristram and Isolde has been trapped behind the barrier of jealousy and hatred and matrimonial commitment that is the fact that Isolde was married to the evil King Mark of Cornwall. But, ladies and gents, all has changed recently. Yes, you see, King Mark very recently chose to imprison the mighty Tristram within a dungeon of one of his castles against his people's wishes. It was a scandalous thing for a man to do, an unchivalrous thing. Tristram trapped in the dark, dank depths of a dungeon where he could see no light nor hear the wonderful voice of his love, the fair Isolde. It seemed that Tristram would rot there. No one knew he was there. Isolde lamented that he wasn't there, but she had no idea where he'd gone. Had he left her? No, ladies and gents, not so. You would be wrong to think that Isolde had been left by Tristram. And indeed, it wasn't until Sir Dinadan, a noble knight of the Round Table, came and discovered that within a castle where he was staying was Sir Tristram in the dungeons. Then, upon the moment when Sir Dinadan discovered this, he came down to the dungeons, fought off the guards, smiting, buffeting, right, left and centre. No, Dawn, I didn't broadcast. We'll get to that after. I had a rare engagement I had to attend, which is unusual for me. But Dinadan broke Tristram out of that castle, and then Tristram went over to the castle of Tintagel in Cornwall when King Mark was away. There he rushed into Isolde's bedchamber and asked her to leave with him, and she agreed. The two of them coming down to the Cornish Sea, there to embark upon a boat, to flee out of Cornwall, to come to England, and then to go and stay in the castle of their closest friend, Sir Lancelot. And it was there, until very recently, that Tristram and Isolde were waiting, enjoying themselves, having some hey nonny nonny. This is Tristram and Isolde after all. But news came to Sir Tristram that over at the castle of Lonazep there was a great tournament, perhaps the greatest tournament that has ever been held by anyone, for this tournament was being held by none other than King Arthur himself. King Arthur holding the tournament to see who would be the greatest knight in all of the realm. Oh, how could Tristram miss up on a chance like that? He and his beloved Isolde set off at once to the castle of Lonazep, there to take part in the tournament. And for the past few nights, ladies and gents, that is where our attentions have been focused upon the tournament. We have had everyone likes a bit of hey nonny nonny now and then, Dawn. And hey nonny nonny is the term that I will be using. Hello, Patrick, come in. So, it was at the castle of Lonazep, at the great tournament field, where it wasn't just a simple case of knight jousting against knight. Oh no, ladies and gents, it was far more grand than that. King Arthur decided that what he wanted to see were all the knights of the realm engaged in war games. What King Arthur did was he asked each of the low kings of Britain to bring an army there, and there for those armies to fight upon the field of battle. Friendly, perhaps, though it may have seemed, there has been loss of life, there has been loss of limb, certainly loss of blood. After all, when you're playing with sharp swords and real horses and spears, death could come quickly on the battlefield. And indeed, death almost has come upon the battlefield, because yes, as Dawn was pointing out here, Sir Palomides also came to the castle of Lonazep. Now, some of you may have heard me speak of Sir Palomides before. Some of you may have forgotten Sir Palomides, and to some of you, the news of Sir Palomides might be a fresh thing. Palomides was the second knight that Tristram ever fought against. And he fought against Palomides years ago in Ireland, fought for the right to woo the beautiful Isolde. For Palomides was much besotted with the lady. At the time, Tristram beat Palomides fair and square, so much so that he forced Palomides to leave Ireland. And ever since, Palomides has hated Tristram. And at each and every time he has come across Tristram, he has challenged him to a duel. At each and every time, Palomides has lost. And each and every time, Palomides has sworn that he will again try and fight Sir Tristram in order to prove himself to be the better knight and to win the hand of the fair Isolde. Ladies and gents, last week when we came to the tournament of Lonazep, Palomides, when he saw Isolde sitting upon the seats, there he was imbued by such fiery courage that he became a whirlwind upon the battlefield. Palomides, who has been a great knight in the past, but never greater than Tristram, turned out to be the man of the hour, smiting right, left, centre. No man could withstand against him. Indeed, Tristram seemed to pale in comparison against him. But, as he was doing this upon the battlefield, one knight singled him out and chose to ride against him and to see whether he could withstand Palomides' force. That man's name, ladies and gents, that man's name was Sir Lancelot. Sir Lancelot, the greatest knight in all the realms. Sir Lancelot, who no man has ever defeated. Lancelot rode at Palomides with his spear in his hand, and Palomides recognised his foe and knew that there was no earthly way that Palomides could ever defeat Lancelot, and so, as the horse came towards him, Palomides moved to the side and chose not to attack Lancelot. Instead, he moved, raised his horn, and lopped off the head. Lopped off the head of Lancelot's horse, so that Lancelot and a horse came crashing down into the earth. It was a most disgraceful, unchivalrous act. Lancelot almost slew Palomides for it, but Palomides in the end begged for his life, and so he was forgiven. But following on from this, the second day of the tournament came, ladies and gents. The second day of the tournament. And on this second day, Tristram was determined to be proven to be a better knight than Palomides, and so Tristram upped his game, smote right, left, centre, buffeting knights, sending them flying backwards. At the end of that second day, Tristram was proved to be a greater knight than Palomides. But Palomides was not a man to take this lying down. Jealous, angry, furious with Tristram, he chose that he would try to end Tristram's life upon the battlefield. That's right, ladies and gents, the friendly was over. Palomides was out for blood, determined that if he could not have Isolde by proving himself to be better than Tristram in chivalry, then what he would do is he would go and chase down Tristram and slay him so that no man could stand in his way. He was almost successful as well. Almost successful, but at the very end, Sir Lancelot came along and saved him. And so, ladies and gents, so in the same way that we smite those people who troll our comments section, so we move on now to the end of that day, to King Arthur and Sir Lancelot going to their tented pavilions for supper. And then, oh, I thought we had them all. Thank you, Henry, for popping your head up the parapet. It's very difficult for me to smite people in the comments section if they're quiet. People are nice sometimes, aren't they? They make my job easy in that respect. Anyway, ladies and gents, shall we get into tonight's show? I think so. Therewith, 2 armed knights came unto the pavilions, and there they both alit from their horses and came in, armed at all pieces. Fair knights, said Sir Tristram, you are to blame to come thus armed at all pieces upon me while we are at our food. If you would anything when we are in the field, then there might you have eased your hearts. Easy, said one of the knights. We come not to fight with you. But know you well, Sir Tristram, that we come hither as your friends. And I am come here, said one, for to see you, and this knight has come to see the beautiful Isolde. Very well then, said Sir Tristram. Then I require you to remove your helms, that I might see you. That will we do at your desire, said the knights. And when their helms were off, Sir Tristram thought that he did know them. Then said Sir Dinadan in private to Sir Tristram, Sir, that's Sir Lancelot the Lake, who spoke to you first, and the other is my lord, King Arthur. Then said Tristram unto the fair Isolde, Madam, Arise, for here is my lord King Arthur. And then the king and the queen kissed, and Sir Lancelot and Sir Tristram embraced each other in arms, and there was joy without measure. And at the request of the fair Isolde, King Arthur and Lancelot were unarmed, and then there was merry talking. Madam, said King Arthur, it is many a day since I've desired to see you, for you have been praised so far, and now I dare say you are the fairest that ever I saw, and Sir Tristram is as fair and as good a knight as any that I know, and therefore it seems to me that you are well matched together. Sir God, thank you, said the noble knight, Sir Tristram, and Isolde said as well, of your great goodness and largesse you are peerless. And thus they talked of many things and of all the whole jousts. But for what cause, said King Arthur, were you, Sir Tristram, against us in the field of battle this day? You are a knight of the Table Round, and of right you should have fought on my side. Sir, said Sir Tristram, here is Dinadan and Sir Gareth your nephew, and they caused me to be against you. My lord Arthur, said Gareth, I may well bear the blame for this, but it was Sir Tristram's own deeds. That I repent, said Dinadan, for this unhappy Sir Tristram brought us to this tournament, and many great buffets has he caused us to have. Then the king and Lancelot laughed so that they might not sit. What knight was that, said Arthur, who held you so short, with the shield of silver? Sir, said Sir Tristram, he sits here at this table. What? Said Arthur. Was it Sir Palomides? Know you well. It was he, said the beautiful Isolde. So God help me, said Arthur. That was unknightly done of you, for to be such a good knight. For I have heard many people call you a courteous knight. Sir, said Palomides, I knew not Tristram, for he was disguised. So God help me, said Lancelot, it might well be, for I did not know Sir Tristram, but I marvel why you turned on our party. That was done for the same cause, said Lancelot. As for that, said Sir Tristram, I have pardoned him, and I would be right loath to take leave of his friendship, for I love right well his company. So they left off, and they talked of other things. And in the evening King Arthur and Sir Lancelot departed unto their lodging. But know you well, Sir Palomides had envy heartily for all that night that he had never rest in his bed. Instead, he wailed and wept out of measure. And so on the morn Sir Tristram, Gareth, and Dinadan arose early, and then they went unto Sir Palomides' chamber, and there they found him fast asleep. For he had all night watched, and it was seen upon his cheeks that he had wept full sore. Say nothing, said Tristram, for I am sure he has taken anger and sorrow for the rebuke that both I and the fair Isolde gave to him. Halfway through tonight's tale, ladies and gents. The quiet bit is over now. The knights have come in, they've had their food, they've drank their wine, they've embraced, they've spoken of merry things. Palomides has gone to bed, no doubt, still smarting from the fact that Tristram told him off. And so, ladies and gents, so now we return once more to the field of battle. And also, Simon's also noticing, when his hairdresser cut his hair the other week, may not have done the world's best job at keeping it out of his eyes. We seem to have had a week. No, you shouldn't feel sorry for him, Dawn. He's a horse smiter. And horse smiters are not welcome. Anyway, let's get into the second half of tonight's tale. Then Sir Tristram let call Sir Palomides, and bade him to make himself ready, for it was time to go to the field. When they were ready, they were armed, and clothed all in red, both Isolde and they, and so they led her, passing freshly through the field into the priory, where was her lodging. And then they heard 3 blasts blow, and every king and knight dressed himself unto the field. And the first who was ready to joust was Sir Palomides, who faced Sir Canis Lestrange, a knight of the Table Round. And so those two encountered together, but Sir Palomides smote Sir Canis so hard that he smote him quite over his horse's crew. And forthwith Sir Palomides went on to smite down another knight, and break his spear, and pull out his sword, and did wondrously well. Then the cheers of the crowd began greatly to go to Sir Palomides. "Lo," said King Arthur, "yonder Palomides begins to play his pageant." "So God help me," said Arthur, "he's a passing good knight." And right as they stood talking thus, in came Sir Tristram as thunder. And he encountered against Sir Kay the Seneschal, and there he smote him down quite from his horse. And with the same spear Sir Tristram then smote down 3 knights more, pulled out his own sword, and did marvellously well. Then the cheers of the crowd changed from Sir Palomides and turned to Sir Tristram. And all the people cried, "O Tristram! O Tristram!" And then was Sir Palomides clean forgotten. "How now?" said Lancelot to Arthur. "Yonder rides a knight who plays his pageants." "So God help me," said Arthur to Lancelot, "you shall see this day that yonder true knights shall here do this day wonders." "Sir," said Lancelot, "the one knight waits upon the other, and enforces himself through envy to pass the noble knight Sir Tristram, and he knows not of the secret envy the which Sir Palomides hath."